So something on my mind I wanted to talk about, and it's something that like kind of agitates me when I hear this word, is the word ambition. And the reason why this word agitates me, I'm going to say this right now. This word is almost always used currently in like a dating context, and I hate the word so much. The reason why I hate this word is because people just don't understand what ambition means. I'll see people as I'm scrolling through like Instagram or Facebook or whatever, people say, oh, I like a dude with ambition. And when I hear that word, I think the reason why it frustrates me is because everyone nowadays has this mindset where everything needs to be tied to money. I think that's why it agitates me. Because when you think about the word ambition, ambition does not inherently mean a desire to make money. Ambition means that you have goals and you have a vision of success for yourself that you strive to achieve. That is what ambition means. Like the opposite of ambition would be laziness. What is laziness? It's the lack of desire to achieve goals. It's the lack of goals. It's the lack of desire to be successful. So when I hear people say, oh, well, I like someone who's ambitious, it's like, what the fuck does that mean? You like someone who's ambitious? Do you like someone who has goals? Well, I don't like people who have goals in this area. I like people who want to be entrepreneurs. It's like, well, that's not all of what ambition is. Ambition doesn't mean you want to be an entrepreneur. Ambition doesn't mean you want to be rich. Ambition just means you have goals and you have an idea of what you want your future to look like. But you don't need money to do that necessarily. And you don't necessarily need to be chasing money all the time. And I think the reason why it frustrates me the most is because I think like nowadays, everyone's so concerned about making money that they drop everything else in order to pursue money. Like you see this everywhere, at least in America. I'm talking about exclusively America right now, but I'm sure this probably happens in like the West as well, with like the UK, probably Australia as well. Just a lot of English speaking nations. There's this idea that wealth should be pursued against all odds. Like that's the mentality. And I know people will like overtly say, well, I don't believe that, but your actions dictate if you believe this to be true. So I'll see people who will say like, oh yeah, you know what? I want to, be in this job. And they'll sacrifice everything. They'll stop talking to people they know. They'll dedicate their entire lives to like their boss or their corporation just to make a little bit extra money. And it's crazy to me. Or I saw recently, I think this morning I was watching this video. It was like this corporate law video. And this one lawyer was saying how like a lot of big corporate law firms, and I don't know if this is all true. I haven't fact checked this, so don't take my word. Don't take me at face value for me saying this. This is just what she was saying in her video. And I could be misinterpreting what she meant. So just take all this with a grain of salt. But she was saying how like a lot of like big law firms are effectively allowing themselves to be bribed or bribing like public officials to progress things and to get things done. And I'm not saying that like as extensively or as like clearly as she did in her like 20 or 30 minute video. But the point pretty much is that people who are in the justice system are willing to skirt the law or overtly break the law or ignore the law for the sake of making more money. Even when you see like politicians, it's like you see politicians who get paid a pretty decent income. Even like our president, for example, they get paid a pretty decent income, a pretty penny. And despite having lots of money, or despite making lots of money, or making a above average income, they're still willing to break rules, or they're still willing to basically throw away their morals in order to make more money. So society as a whole, again, just talking about like Western society, has come to this point where everyone just does things for the sake of money. And it's super, like, I don't like using this word too much because it's overused, but this is probably the best word that comes to mind to describe this, to describe like how I view this. It's toxic. Like it's toxic in the most literal sense because it just degrades everything around you. If everyone's just always pursuing money, what becomes the purpose of anything? It's like nowadays I'll see on Instagram, and maybe I talked about this in a different video. I'll see on Instagram, I'll try to look at like a casual, like funny video. And at some point in the video, some dude pulls out like an app and he's just gambling. And it's like, your sponsor is a gambling app. Like, if it was just one person, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. If it was just a handful of people, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But it's like every creator is just promoting gambling. There's this new thing called like Kashi, I think it's called. I didn't look it up. Kashi, I'm not too sure. I think Kashi is like some bread company. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm not promoting it. But it's basically an app that lets you just bet on like everything. And it's like people are just, I get like the economics nowadays. I get the economy's not that great. I get the job market's not that great. I get that people are in a really bad situation. I totally understand that. But it's like weird that everything needs to be about money. It's like people can't even just have like a daily normal situation without trying to monetize it in some way. I saw the other day another video, some lady, she gave birth. I didn't like watch it because it was so stupid, but some lady was giving birth and she was trying to monetize it. She streamed it. It's like, you don't need to try to make money off of everything. Not everything needs to be content. What happened to the days where people could just do things for the sake of doing things? And I know it probably sounds like I'm deviating a lot from the original point, which was about ambition. But my overall point is that when people talk about being ambitious, it doesn't mean, oh, I like that this person has goals and is actually just striving to achieve something. What it really says is, I like this person. Like when I hear specifically girls, because I'm not picking on girls, but I hear girls say this almost like always. Like I think 99.9% of the time when I hear this phrase, it's from girls, but it's always about in the exact same context. When I hear girls say like, oh, I like a man who's ambitious, it just really what you're saying is I like a man who wants to get rich, which to me is a relatively low value mindset because life's not just about being rich. There's far more to life than just trying to make money, right? I would hope you agree with this. Like, if someone were to say, I like a man who's ambitious, and the person responds, oh, I want to be like one of the best artists, or I want to be a great artist, not even the best, I just want to be a good artist. That should be plenty, because that is ambition. That is a sign of ambition. Or I want to be one of the greatest musicians. That's a sign of ambition. I want to be an author. Ambition. I want to be an engineer. Ambition. I want to be the best, I don't know, carpenter ever. Ambition. And it doesn't need to be anything like crazy. It doesn't need to be like something that people ordinarily talk about or is like high status. Ambition is just the desire to want your version of success. And some success is subjective. I think that's something else that kind of agitates me. Even when people talk about like success, because when you hear people talk about success, it's success from the version of, it's success based on what society told you success should look like, which to me is not real success. It's stupid success. It's like when you see people who are like, oh, I need to have like a house with like 2 kids and a white picket fence. Why? Why do you need these things? Why do you want these things? I'm not saying it's bad to want them. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm asking you why you specifically want those specific things. Or it's like when you hear someone say, I want to be a millionaire. Why? Why do you want to be a millionaire? What goal, what purpose does that serve you? Why I just want to be like, I want to be rich. I want to be a millionaire. Why that number? Why do you pick that number? You pick that number because everyone around you has always said your entire life that number, and you just regurgitated what you've heard other people say. So you're not thinking for yourself. Now, if someone were to say, oh, you know what? I want to be someone who makes $225,000, 716 cents, something like that, whatever. That'd be a fair point because it feels like you actually thought about it. Like it seems like a very specific number. You thought through your decision to come up with that number. 99.9% of people don't do that. 99.9% of people just say, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, you live in like California. Will a millionaire even like help you that much? Or you live in like some really expensive area? Is $1 million gonna even help you that much? Like, honestly, are we talking like net worth? Are we talking about like money in the bank? What are we talking here? Oh, I don't know. You don't know because you didn't think about it. You just heard other people say it and you just copied what they said because it sounded good or because they told you that was the thing to think. It's stupid. And it frustrates me so much because it's how most people think. Most people are just like, oh, I'm just gonna regurgitate things that other people tell me. This is how my life should be. And then when their life's not going the way they want it to go, or when they feel so unhappy, or when they feel so lost, they're wondering why. And then you got people like me who say, you're lost because you never once pursued something that you actually wanted from your own life. You pursued the things that everyone told you you should want. You don't think for yourself, therefore you feel lost. You're lost because you're wandering. You're wandering because people are pulling you in every single direction. You're not the one in control. You're not the one driving the car, so to speak. You don't have your hands on the wheel. You're in the passenger seat and you don't even notice it. That's why you feel lost, because someone's driving you somewhere else, but every 2 minutes you allow someone to drive your car. So of course you're gonna be lost. You don't know where you're going. They know where they're going. They have a destination for you. You don't know where their destination is. And it seems like you don't care because you keep letting people drive, because you refuse to think for yourself. You refuse to question things. So I don't know. One of the worst words I think of 2026 that needs to be like abolished. We need to stop using this word as ambition, because most of you guys don't know what ambition means. You guys only think about ambition in terms of money. And I think the death of society, the death of civilization is this endless pursuit towards trying to make money at all costs. I'm not saying don't make your money. I'm not saying don't try to get a bag. I'm not saying don't try to be rich. I'm not saying any of those things. Those things are fine. What I am saying is that life's not all about making money. Should you make money at the sacrifice of your friends and social relationships? No. You're a fool if you do that. Should you pursue money to the extent that it destroys your reputation? No. You're a fool if you do that. Should you make more money in pursuit of your own health? No, you're a fool if you do that. But what do most people do? They do all of those things. Most people end up just being like these rich people who just want to flex online and being like, oh, I have money. It's like you have nothing else though. You have nothing else. Your lifestyle's not even all that appealing because everyone else can fake it and look the exact same as you. So what are you doing? Why are you chasing this money? There's a story I want to share with you real quick too, by the way, before I end this video. And it's a story I think about a lot when I pursue things in general. I always ask myself, why am I doing something? Like now I started drawing comic books and I ask myself, why am I drawing comic books? Is it for money? Not really. I'd be fine never selling a copy of my comic as long as people told me that they enjoyed it. If people enjoyed the story, I actually don't care if I never sold a copy. It wouldn't make me a difference. So I'm not doing that for money. I ask myself, why do I get in shape? Am I doing it for money? No, I'm doing it for my own personal health and I'm doing it for the aesthetics. I'm doing it for the status a little bit, I'll be honest, but I'm not doing it for money. So I really sit there for every little thing I do, I ask myself and I try to go deep. I ask, why am I even doing this in the first place? What is the purpose that I'm trying to get from this? Where's the end game? Where's the destination? There's a good story I heard a while back, and I think it illustrates this point, and I think it's something that people should keep in mind. And I don't know the exact, I've heard a few different names for it. I'm just gonna share the story, and I'm just gonna call it the beach man and the rich man. We'll call it that. So the story, as the story goes, there's a guy who's kind of just chilling on the beach, just relaxing in the sun. Seems like he's enjoying life. This guy comes up. Apparently he's a millionaire. Doesn't really make a difference. He comes up and he says, hey man, what are you doing on the beach? You just chilling and relaxing? And the guy's like, yeah, I caught some fish and I'm happy for the day and I'm just relaxing for the rest of the day. And the rich guy goes, oh, well, though, you caught some fish today, but there's lots of day left. You could catch more fish. And the guy goes, the fisherman who's on the beach goes, okay, but what would I get from doing that? The rich guy kind of goes, well, if you were to catch more fish, you'd be able to get more money. And the fisherman goes, okay, but what do I get from that? And the rich guy goes, well, if you make more money, you can buy a bigger boat. And with a bigger boat, you can catch more fish. And the fisherman goes, okay, but what do I do with that? Rich guy goes, well, with a bigger boat, you can catch more fish and make a lot more money. And then eventually you can start to hire more people. And then eventually once you hire more people, you can start to franchise and start to make it into like an actual legitimate company. And the fisherman goes, that sounds cool, but then what do I do from there? And the rich guy goes, well, eventually, once you get enough boats and enough employees and enough companies that sell fish, you can retire. And the fisherman goes, okay, well, retirement sounds cool. What do I do when I retire? The rich guy goes, when you retire, you can chill and just sit on the beach and relax all day because you got passive income. You got money flowing in. And the fisherman goes, that sounds dope. Cool. And he goes back to relaxing on the beach. And so the point of the story is that a lot of people do things that other people tell them they should do in spite of just doing the thing that they want to do themselves. Like, if you listen to the rich guy, you're going to be chasing this idea of like wealth and status your entire life, not realizing that your final destination would be the same regardless. Like, you could be the guy who's content with selling a little bit of fish if his end game is just to be on the beach, or you can be the guy who, instead of just doing the easy thing, which is just chilling on the beach right now, you go through this whole song and dance trying to make this big company because other people tell you that's what you should be doing, and you're listening to way too many people who just don't know what the fuck they're talking about, making your life more complicated than it needs to be, only for you, at the end of your life, when it means less, to sit on the beach and do the thing you could have done 20 or 30 years ago. Does that make sense? So this is why I say, 1, question things. 2, don't just listen to random people. Don't listen to society. My personal opinion, and I've said this in other videos before, whatever society pushes on you, there's a good chance you should be doing the opposite. This is just my 2 cents. And it's gonna sound rude, but most people are idiots. Most people are morons. Most people just listen to other morons because smart people, like if you're really smart, you're willing to think for yourself. That's to me like the true sign of an intelligent person. Are you willing to think about the things that are placed in front of you? If not, you're not that smart. You just like to listen to what other people say. And why is this? Because thinking's complicated. Thinking's hard. Thinking takes lots of effort. It's stressful. And most people don't want to do that. Most people try to avoid the stress. They try to avoid all of that critical thinking at all costs. So they offload the critical thinking to other people who they believe is smart. But the problem is when you're not smart, you can't identify smart people. So the people who tell you that they're smart are actually fucking morons. That's the issue. And so you got a bunch of people listening to fucking morons, being fucking morons by extension. Because if you're learning from morons, what does that make you? A moron. You're not learning the correct things. Therefore, you're learning the wrong things. So that makes you a moron. So how do we end this chain of stupidity, moronity? I don't know if that's a real word, but we're gonna make it a word right now. How do we end this? Think for yourself. Think for yourself. Ask questions. Try to learn the response. Try to learn the correct things to do on your own. Don't just accept what society tells you to be true. You figure out what's true for you. Because understand, society is like a human being. Society is like a really greedy, really manipulative human being. It wants what's best for itself, not necessarily what's best for you. Sure, sometimes the things that society wants could benefit you, but that's not its intent. Its intent is not about you. Its intent is itself. So you might mistake the positives that come from what society wants to do, and you might say, oh, society's amazing. When society does this, I benefit. You benefited today because society didn't, it just happened to be that way today. They say like a broken clock is correct twice a day. It happened to work out favorably for you this time, but it's not gonna work like that all the time. And it's probably not gonna work like that most of the time. Most of the time, you're probably gonna get screwed over, but you can stop it. How? By not listening. Doing what you want to do. And I'm not saying do it in like a reckless way that hurts other people. Obviously don't hurt other people. But the point that I'm making is that when you think for yourself, you get the things you want. And this all comes from you not listening to society. It all comes from you not using words like ambition when it comes to just making money. So stop using that word ambition. Stop listening to other people. Stop following the stupidity of society. Society's designed to get stupid people to follow it. Break free from that. Do what the fuck you want to do with your life, because you only get one. I was gonna go into another tangent with like religion and stuff too, but I'll save that for another video. Because I know some people are gonna say, oh, well, according to like Christianity, I get life in heaven, whatever. Whatever. As far as you know, in this reality, in this plane of existence, you have one life. So live it well. And the way you live it well, in my personal opinion, is by not following what society tells you to do. It's by doing what you believe to be best for you without hurting other people. Make sense? If you like the video, click the like button. If you don't like it, don't watch any more of my videos. I don't particularly care. I'm not trying to monetize this. It doesn't make me a difference. Leave a comment if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you disagree. I'm happy to debate you. I got the voice notes now in the comments. I haven't tested it yet, but I want to. So if you're someone who wants to debate, I'll happily respond with my own voice to you, and we can have that debate. And I hope to see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.